Good evening, guys. Happy Wednesday. I know I'm starting like 2 minutes early, but I saw some of you hop in here, and I know Mama B's just kind of wrapping up for Possum Run Homestead, but I have so much work to do tonight, and then I'm probably gonna bounce out like 5 minutes early because I have to go pick up Frank, and then I'm gonna have to edit tonight. So it's going to be one of those. It's been one of those weeks. It's going to continue to be one of those weeks. Actually have. I need to get 1.5 videos done tonight for the current schedule to be happy. So there you have it. Paul Honeyman, hello from England. Alex, hello. He says, I'm a waiting. That's right. Wait no more. David Glunt, good evening. Hello. Auntie Anne, hello. What's going on? Todd's Adventures. Hello, hello. Carl Lewis, the man with the plan, says thumbs up. That's a good idea. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up. That's right. I watched part of it, David. I didn't watch it live. I watched the replay. I watched part of the replay today. But I couldn't watch the whole thing. I did not have enough time, but I did watch pieces of it. Glenn and Shannon's Salty Life, hello. So yeah, I know Tim and David were cutting it up on Tim's live last night, and David actually joined him. I've got my reading glasses on tonight, guys, on top of my contacts so that I can read the comments without having to stare at my phone. So if my eyes look funny, that's why. Because I know it kind of magnifies my eyeballs a bit. So I apologize, but that's what happens when you're old and blind. So, from Toronto, yes. I knew you were in Canada. I knew that much, Alex. I knew you were in Canada. Greg, what's going on? I appreciate the flamingo emoji, of course. Jesse Klug, good evening, all. Hello. Mike 5 was getting himself in trouble. That's what I heard. I know something happened. I still don't know because I haven't watched that video that explained what happened. Something about a tire blowing up and then him saying he wasn't going to help them anymore, which I'm sure there's more to that story, but that was the clickbait of it. So we'll see. I'm still a young pup. Ugh, tell that to my spine, my eyes, my hip. Not feeling like a young pup these days, that's for sure. Plus, I just got one of my medical bills in the mail from all the stuff I've had to have done lately, and I'm gonna have to call and complain a bit because. I ended up having to have 2 sets of X-rays done because the first set of X-rays I did here in town when I initially had gone to my general practitioner, and he was like, well, let's get some X-rays so we can see what's going on with your spine and your hip, like what's skeletally wrong with you. And from that, I got the disc of them, and they had an issue with their machine that day. They actually had me use their transport machine because their regular machine was down. So they had me in fetal positions, in like all these weird positions to take pictures of my spine, which I thought was weird. I've never had X-rays done of my spine where they wanted me to curl up in a ball. That seemed odd to me, but I was like, well, they're the professionals, whatever. Well, then when I went to the orthopedist, they were like, these X-rays are useless. We have to do a whole new set. And so I need to call them now that I've gotten the bill for after what my insurance covered, which is basically it covered like $200 of it. So now I have this bill for like $700 that I'm like, $700 for something that I couldn't even use, that had to go then be redone, that I'm probably going to get another bill for. So I'm going to have to call them and be like, no. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm pretty good at negotiating stuff when I need to. So we'll see. I would believe it, Paul. I know. I think across the board, up, down, left, right, politics are basically a mess everywhere right now. I think everybody is feeling that about their current situations. I think it's pretty much across the board. I mean, we did not to get political on our channel here, because that's not what our channel is really about. But um, I did watch snippets of the Fed Reserve conference today, and they did lower, the interest rate by 0.5%, which I was surprised, um, considering the current state of the economy. And yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. Tim Mason, hello. Old Man King Homestead, what's going on? Glenn and Shannon Salty Life say, hey, Tim Mason. David Glunt says he has to get an MRI on his neck, shoulders, hands, and hips. Yikes. That's not fun, I imagine. Same thing happened to me. 2 sets of x-rays, insurance pays 80, I pay the rest. Yeah. So that's not exciting. And it's really, here's the thing that I don't like is I can't seem to, I wish they just had everything listed out so you knew going in. They just said, oh, it's covered when I went to have all this back and hip stuff done. So I'm thinking like, okay, it'll be whatever, like my copay or whatever. But it's not. So, and I did have I was wary of the x-rays, and these are from x-rays back in May that they're just now billing me for too. So I'm kind of like, anyway, I need to call them and figure that out because, yeah. I also have an issue with, when you pay, we pay out of pocket for our insurance. So, we have independent insurance. So, I'm already paying every month for that. And then when I use it, twice in a year, I should then also have to pay, all these fees, I feel like. But I think insurance is a scam, in my opinion. Up, down, left, right, it's a scam. So there's that. David Glunt, they'll give you a discount to just get the whole body scanned, right, Neil? Probably. That's what you should do, David. I get bills 6 months or more after the fact. It's crazy. Yeah, and it's nuts. And I get why. Like I do understand why. I worked in pharmacy for 20 years, and the accounting, the way it's done with that. So like, let's say, for example, you get, amoxicillin, right? And let's say your copay is $5, but the cost of the pharmacy to dispense it is 10. Okay. And they bill that $5 to the insurance company. The insurance company, after a while and several attempts, will finally get back and say, well, we'll pay you $1 for that. And it appears to be completely capricious because there's no set list of rules or prices anywhere in the current mainstream insurance. So that is my but that is why you get, it's the same thing happens in doctor's offices. They have to do multiple attempts at billing a lot of times, only to then get the response several months later from the insurance, and then they have to come to you for the remainder. However, sometimes what doctors and places do now, let's say a procedure costs them $100, okay, to do. And that includes their cost and their profit that they need to keep running. And they will, your copay was, let's say $5. And the remainder of that they bill to the insurance company. But their actual piece that they only really need to get by, and to still make a profit is $80, but they're charging $100 because they're padding themselves, because they know some things are not going to pay and some things are not going to be covered. So they pad themselves on each billing. And then what happens is when that's not met, let's say, between the patient's copay and what the insurance did end up paying, it's closer to 75 or 80, which is their mark. They may never bill you for the remainder of that $20 or $25. So it's just, that's just kind of how it works. And it's kind of a bummer. So, yeah. And you can't just ask when you go to the doctor's office to say, well, how much will it cost to have x-rays? Because they can't tell you. So, and then if you try to ask them for the cash price to be billed to your insurance company, they won't do that either. So that's why you then have to call after the fact and negotiate with them. There's a little tip from me to you. Always, when you get a medical bill, always call and negotiate with them because I guarantee you, and before you start any of the negotiations, ask what the cash price is for a procedure. And that gives you a starting point. So there you go. That's my little tip from working in the industry for so long. Um, Paul Honeyman says, thankfully, don't have to pay for my meds or hospital care. Well, that's good. That's good. Major scam. I'm so over insurance companies. 100% Auntie Ann, 100%. Oh, Tim Mason says if he can swing it, he might come check out Cruise in the Coast. That's going to be down there by Glenn and Shannon's Salty Life. Right on. A full body scan for David. Well, hopefully they will find what they're looking for and get it squared away for you. See, and on my side, it's not showing up. And I told it not to when I set up the live. So you shouldn't have gotten an ad, Greg. I don't get it. And I'm also, just for reference, I'm also watching on my phone too. So we'll see. I may have to, there may be some other setting that I don't have right if that's happening, and I'll have to investigate that further. So insurance is to blame for the double test. 100%, 100%, Colin, 100%. Glenn says, well, let me know, bro. The first Sunday in downtown Gulfport is the best day in my opinion. There we go. You like Mike's mechanic chair, Greg? So that's his old office chair that was like kind of falling apart, and he ordered a new chair. And then that one ended up he didn't like it as much, but Frankie really liked it. So she put it in her room at her desk, and that one ended up in the shop as like his shop chair. But it's his old office chair that he's had for, God, I think we've had that chair for probably close to as long as we've been married. So David says, I pay $12 a month, so I don't get ads. Nice. I got a short commercial. It was quick and came right back to the live. Huh, that's weird, Neil. I mean, I know when it first opens up, you get one, but that's when you click on anything. So, and I don't have control over that. But the rest of it, I don't know. See, Jesse says, interesting. I haven't gotten any. So, I don't know. His instructor chair. Yes, that's right, Paul. His instructor chair. Something like that. I think so, yeah. So he's actually done so you guys, the way that wall was in that video of them working on the brakes doesn't look like that now. So there's a video that I actually haven't posted yet because there's another piece to it of something else. And so that video should be coming out, I believe, next week. I have to check my schedule. I think that one's coming out next week. So this coming Friday, see, now I didn't get a thing to shut the ad off here, but I just got an ad on here. So something's not right in the matrix. So my apologies, guys. I thought I turned it off. Apparently I did not. And now it doesn't used to give me the option to skip the ads. While I was streaming, it would warn me that an ad was coming up and I could skip it. It's not letting me do that anymore. And I noticed that last live too, which is why I went for the no thing. But maybe I clicked it wrong. I don't know. I'm going to have to go back and look and see what I did. I must have screwed up because computers never mess up. It's always people, right? Sure, we'll go with that. But anyway, so this Friday's video, I finally got around to making my elderberry syrup today. I had harvested them all several weeks ago, and I had a couple batches come ready at different times. So I harvested I think it was 3 different times, and stuck them in the freezer. Washed them, took them off the vine or the stems or whatever, and packed them in Ziploc bags and stuck them in the freezer. And I've been meaning to make it. I was going to try to make it before I left for California and a few weeks ago, and I just didn't get a chance to. And then I was trying to get my hands on some fresh ginger, and a couple stores I went to didn't have it. And so anyway, long story short, I didn't end up making it with ginger, but I did make it today. So that was good. At least I got that done. So Friday's video will be kind of showing you the update of the current state of the shop and kind of going through the elderberry syrup real quick. And it's going to be kind of out of order, which I don't like to do. I usually like to show you guys a project in consecutive order, but because of the way life has worked out, it's not going to be that way. So it is what it is. And unfortunately, which I also mentioned in the video that'll be on Friday, the work that was done since Mike and Frankie did the initial first part of that secondary wall did not get filmed. Mike's notorious for doing things and either not telling me that he's going to do them so that I can go film it, or I'm busy doing something else and he doesn't film it himself. So then it just doesn't get filmed. So, so it looks like it just magically happened, but it didn't magically happen. He was out there in the shop and Frankie helped him with it 1 or 2 times. But most of it he ended up doing it by himself late at night because he's random like that. So go figure. Let's see. You're back, but your screen keeps freezing. Well, put a sweater on it, big country. I don't know what to tell you. I agree, David Glunt, but I love watching them videos with Sid filming and Mike instructing Frankie. Their chemistry is like like my daughter and mine, and we love to laugh with and at each other. I love that. Yes, gotta laugh with and at each other at all times. How bad was the storm for us last week? Had nothing to do last Wednesday. LOL. So I kind of felt bad. A lot of people thought that something happened, which was why we weren't doing the live, or that we were like in the eye of the storm, which I tried to correct when I realized that everybody thought that. That was not what happened. I was completely stressed out. I was under the gun for some sponsorship deadlines that were giving me a really hard time, and if we're being honest, all of them are giving me a really hard time right now, like every single one. And this started before I left for California, and so I've had about, I don't know, 6 or 7 that I've been working with over the last couple months, that every single one, with the exception of one, has been an issue to some degree or another. And it's super frustrating as a content creator when they change what they want, when they want it, like after the fact. So that delays us being able to post. It changes what I then have already filmed that needs to then be refilmed. It's a lot of extra work. So it's just really, really frustrating. So anyway, so I was stressed out. I was babbling to Mike and I was like, I just don't even have time to do the live tonight. I have way too much going on. I'm really, really stressed out. I had been up since 3 in the morning. I was just like, I was over it. And I was like, I'm just not gonna do the live tonight. And he was like, okay. Because he doesn't care. You know, he hardly comes out for them anyway. So it was like, whatever. Yeah, I know. Shut me up. Put my hands behind my back. I know. I like Frankie trying to take off the lug nuts when Mike pulls out Big Breaker Bar. I know, right? Oops. Oopsies. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Ridge Life, what's up? I watched part of your live on replay from last night, but I didn't get to finish it. So I started to watch it. I watched part of it. Saw you and David going back and forth about the blowing up of the tire, and then I had to scoot out onto the next thing. So Kio Maris, how's your daughter in the horse? I think you mean in the horse. They're both fine. She's not inside the horse, thank goodness. She you know, she's doing much better. You know, that she went through a lot of kind of testing her boundaries for a long time, and so but now she hasn't bitten anybody in like 8 months, So I figure that's good progress. So, and we've had her a year now. So she's doing really well, I think. She's just really stubborn and set in her ways. I think she's been so used to being on her own and not having attention and affection. Nothing against Anthony that had her before us, of course. It's just it the horse got left with him and he did his best to take care of it, but he's not a horse person. So he wasn't the type to like want to go out there and love on the horse and play with the horse and work with the horse. So Beulah was just sort of left to her own devices for a long time. And so kind of getting her used to like people and this is what we expect from you and this is what you need to do has taken some time. So Paul says, hey, Tim. So Mike from DD5 is going to need paid ASAP for that stitch up on your live last night. He's scared of Uncle David right now. I know. I don't even know the whole scoop yet because I haven't gotten caught up on everybody's stuff. So I'm telling you. Yeah, Billy, I know. I'm sorry. I thought I turned it off. It used, like I said, it used to give me the option to skip. I must not have turned it off like I thought I did when I set up the live. So my apologies. I will fix that before the next live. I will fix it. I have texted Mike 3 times to ask Frankie what HP Kenny is, but he won't respond. Can you ask Frankie? I know Mike don't know. Oh, I messaged you back on the comment. I looked it up because she didn't know either. She was like, I don't remember. It was 24 point something, I think, on that model. 24 point something. I can't remember if it was like 24.6 or 24.8 or 24 point something, I want to say. It's just under 25 horses. That's all I remember. So, but Mike is the worst about texting back as well. So there's that. Also, he's been super busy. I've barely seen him, to be honest, and we live in the same house. So I've hardly seen him really since I got back from California. We just have been on opposite schedules. And I've been up there editing a ton. And then, when we're filming stuff, I'm working. So, we just haven't really talked much. Just been busy and he's been really slammed at work and he's got a lot of stuff that he's involved in outside of that. So, those lug nuts were on way too tight for Frankie. Yeah, the last time that car had been worked on was in a shop. So they must have just cranked it down, I'm guessing. But she went after it. She's strong. I don't think it's 26. I know I looked it up. And it wasn't 26 because the model we have, it was 24 point something. Because I remember it was under 25 horses. Lonely Hitchhiker Kent, what's going on? Howdy, howdy. Oh yeah, I get that too. But she didn't know either, to be honest. She was like, I have no idea. She was like, she's like, it's not a lot. And I was like, well, I know that. But yeah, we had no idea. We saw your comment and we looked it up together because I was like, I don't know. So I just looked up the model. But I don't know what that noise was. Something in Mike's office, some feedback in there. Jerry Jones, hello. I'm doing well, thank you. Mike is not bad about returning text. Text me and I'll show you why we don't care. I know guys are not great about returning text. Some certain guys, I should say. I've been looking at a Mahindra compact tractor. It's 24.5 horsepower. Nice. I've had shops over tighten lug nuts before. They should be using a torque wrench. Yeah, they should. But I think somebody had commented, I think on the video earlier that they were like, they must have used like an impact driver on that. And I'm like, it's very possible because you never know. So there was a shop that was near Mike's office um, when we lived in California, and they would service his car. They would do the oil changes and brakes and whatever. So they were without a doubt the last ones professionally to touch it, aside from one or two oil changes that we've taken to a shop here, and when we took it to the tire shop to have the tires um, replaced. So, although that could have been the shop out here, I don't remember which tire. I think it was the front tires. So he must have tightened it. It was the tire shop out here that must have done it. So, oh no. Ridge Life said, someone said last night, if I grow my hair any longer, Mike and Ryan will ask me to join them in the shower. Oh no. I know that trip's coming up soon. I'm honestly looking forward to a weekend of no boys in the house other than my cat. Yeah, that will be nice. I'll probably bring Bunko in that weekend too. He's so good in the house. He really is. I always bring him in when it's really, really cold. And then there's some times where if like we know Mike's gonna be gone, um, we'll bring him in and cuddle with him and then put him back outside before Mike gets home. Don't tell. That's our secret. Because he'll get mad at me. um, if it were up to me, Bunko would be indoor outdoor. He would come inside at night and then he would come out in the morning with me. And then if he wanted to come in during the day, I would let him in like 100%. He loves being outside, but there's a lot of times where you'll be in the kitchen and you'll hear the rattle of the doorknob getting smacked because he's trying to get in the house. Like he wants you to come pay attention to him. So he's funny. So now Frankie can do the brakes on the truck all by herself. That's right. We gotta buy him first, one thing at a time. One thing at a time. She's doing well with her TikTok, so I think she's gotten to the point now she has enough subscribers that she can get monetized, but I'm not up on all the TikTok stuff like that. Mike is, because his TikTok is monetized and he does sponsorships on it and stuff. He's done a handful of them now. So he'll be the one to probably guide her on that because I have no idea. So we'll see. I had Costco rotate the tires on my truck and they broke the stud on the wheel. Oh no. That's no bueno. I know, don't tell. I'm saying you guys don't tell Mike. It'll be our little secret. Just us. That's it. And if you guys haven't hit that thumbs up, please hit that thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. I feel like our lives have been so quiet lately. They've been very small. The quality is there. We just don't have the quantity like we used to, I guess. Mike was actually talking about switching our live night or whatever. So I don't know. I don't really want to switch it. To me, it's like this is a night that works well for me schedule wise. But we have Bible study at our church on Wednesday nights, and he wants to do that. So, but I even told him, I was like, how are you going to go to Bible study on Wednesday nights when you can't even make the live on Wednesday nights? Explain me that. But I don't know. And we are super involved in our church, but I can't be involved in every single thing and still function and run the house and do all the stuff. It gets to be a bit much. So that's true. Mike won't find out because he doesn't watch our lives, and he doesn't watch every once in a while though. I do get busted because I'll say something on Sippin' and Spillin' and he'll read me for it later. And I'm like, you never watch those. And of course that's the one you watched. There'll be like one where I vent about him a little bit or where I say something that he doesn't like or whatever. And I'm like, great. So, meh. I know. I don't want to switch it either. Because he was like, well, we could do Thursday. And the first thing I thought of was, no, we can't because Auntie Anne has Bible class that night and she won't be able to be there. So, yeah, I don't want to switch it for a lot of reasons, but that was also I don't know. I stepped on tape apparently at some point. was on the bottom of my shoe. And now it's covered in dog hair. No worries, Paul. No worries. You have to be in club, Sid, to get the kink of info. So don't tell. I missed something there, big country. I don't know. Frankie has great parents. She'll be successful when she grows up. Well, thank you, Robert. I appreciate that. I've never drove a tractor with a front attachment, but I have used a box blade before. It's not that different. It just makes it a little bit harder to see. I mean, if you're tall, it's probably easier. Like Frankie and I are short, so when we're doing something with the tractor, we usually have to like lean out the tractor and do one of these to look around the front to see where it is, or we have to have a spotter. Because it's really, I mean, she's gotten pretty good at kind of figuring out where everything is, but she's driven it a lot more than I have. So it just makes it tricky. Hey, don't knock the tickety talk, man. Listen, here's the thing. It's important to diversify because you never know what's going to happen with a lot of these, social media things. You might get locked out of one of yours. You might have one get shut down for something. So it's good to have like different places where you have that if that's your thing. But his TikTok's actually kind of successful. So, and he's made some money on it. So I'm not mad at it. Yeah. His TikTok money can pay my medical bill, maybe. And then some. 28.5. Woo. They just get pricier and pricier. Yeah, Paul says, I haven't been on your lives for the last 2 weeks, and Wednesday night, this time is perfect for me. I know. No on Thursday. I know, Auntie Ann. I know. We used to do them on Fridays, like way back. Like we always did them on Friday nights. We used to do them Sunday afternoons, which that would never work now. But we used to do them for a long time. We did them Friday nights. And then it got to be kind of hard to do them on Friday nights because if we had to be anywhere, if we wanted to do anything, we couldn't do it Friday night because we had our live, or it had to be after our live. So it was just always kind of like, oh, well, we can't because we have our live at that time. And now with Frankie being essentially in sports with Twirly Twirl, like this Friday, we're going to be at the game because it's the first home game of the season. And then our church is hosting fifth quarter after, which is like the after party for the kids. I've never heard of it until we moved here. I was like, fifth quarter, what the heck is that? But it's basically like an after party, and all the churches take turns hosting the after party, basically. And the parents volunteered, like, do snacks and chaperone. And so I'm helping, Mike and I are both helping with that Friday night. So how do you make money on TikTok? I thought it was only the lives. Oh, no, Tim. Once you get to 1,000, no, I don't know all the parameters. Mike would know it better than I do. Once you get to 1,000 followers or subscribe, whatever they call it, you're eligible to get your foot into the door to start earning. And so you earn ad revenue, and then you can also do like the TikTok shop stuff. Like he's made, I mean, I'll text you and tell you. I don't want to like announce it because he might get mad at me if I just say it. But he's done well on it so far. So we hear him. I know he's not quiet when he's on the phone. Everything's on speakerphone at full volume. So he's deaf and I'm blind. So, but I'm also deaf because I'm the one that has to he can watch TV without the subtitles. I cannot, but he has to have the TV at maximum volume, and I can't listen to it that loud because then it starts to not make sense to me anymore. So it's fine. I just leave the subtitles on and I have them, you can change the setting on your subtitles on your TV so that they're really big. I have them at the largest size. Not trying to brag, but I'm just saying. Yeah, it says I remember Friday nights. That's right. That's right. Joe Jacobson says, I need to make a lot of money to afford anything better than a 16 horsepower lawn and garden type tractor. Yeah, they're expensive. I mean, you can find some used ones, more, smaller models of tractors, similar to our Kenny, that would be in that 25 horsepower range, um, and potentially have some attachments. But, you know, you got to look for them. And then obviously then you're not financing it, you're paying for it. So you might be getting a tractor instead of paying 28 grand, you might be paying 10 grand, but you have to pay it to the person. So it's like buying a new car or a used car from somebody essentially, you know. So, which reminds me, I need to call David. Speaking of buying tractors, need to call David. I didn't know they had ads on TikTok. Yeah, have him give me a call when he gets a free minute, please. Okay, I will. I'll in fact, I need to ask him a couple questions about it too. I'll get the deets because he's real bad about that. But I'll see if he'll give you a call. I know he's making summer sausage tonight. He defrosted all the venison that he had put aside for that, and then got the grinder out tonight. So I'm pretty sure he's starting the process of that tonight. Um, and which is, yes, it's last year's deer that he's doing. He just got busy, didn't get around to doing it, and it's just been sitting in the freezer. So now our freezers have more space for incoming deer, which is good. But yeah, so he's got to get that all done in the next 2 days really at this point. So CRC hasn't done a live in months. Yeah, I listen, lives are hard, man. Like you go, and I found this, I've been doing lives for a long time, off and on for a long time, since not when we started YouTube, but like a couple years in. And we've been doing YouTube for a hot minute. So I want to say it was either 2015 or 2016 when I did my first live. Might have been 2016. And I think I did 2 lives a week for a while. Then I would do 1 live a week, and it was always by myself because I would do it, during the week. And then we started doing them together on Sunday afternoons for a while. Then we were doing Friday nights for a while. Then we didn't do them for a while. Then we went back to doing them for a while. And then we stopped doing them for a while. They go in kind of ebbs and flows. Like tonight, we don't have very many people in here, which makes me sad. But not that I don't love hanging out with you guys. Like I said, we have quality over quantity tonight. But it makes it hard because lives don't get a lot of replays, generally speaking. And it's hard to make your live really clickbaity. Tim's really good at that. But for me, it's like I don't know. I'm just not, when it comes to a live, I'm like, I got nothing. Other than to just chat with you guys, and see what happens. I sometimes have an update for you. Sometimes something happens that I want to share on here versus I'll sip and spill in or whatever. But, so. Yes, I know, Tim. I'm talking about when they all swapped times. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, when Wednesday nights used to be kind of all lined up, and now it's sort of not anymore again. It's fine. That's true. And they were on right after us on Wednesdays. But honestly, for me, like I wouldn't want to go any later. And also, I have to be in town to pick up Frank. So 7 o'clock would not work. It will work for Mike potentially, but not for me. So it's hard to find a time where we can both be here because we're hardly in the same room together at the same time anyway lately. So Um, I don't know. I've debated about like taking breaks from lives too over the last several months just because you go from you'll have like 300 or 400 people in a live and then it kind of slowly tapers off over time and then you get down to where you have, 60, 70, 80 people in your live for a few, and then it goes back up again for a while, and it goes back down. So it's just kind of, you know, it's just one of those things. So I don't know. Um, I guess we'll see what happens. I will definitely keep you guys posted if any changes are made, whether it's a different schedule or uh, not doing them at all for a while, or maybe going to once a month, or I don't know, something like that. Um, I would definitely keep you guys posted on that. But I think Sid is Mike because you never see them at the same room together. I know, right? Pretty much. We're like Superman. I know. I'm telling you. Outdoors with Vance. Howdy, howdy. Speaking of that, has anybody talked to Chance lately? That just reminded me, Vance Chance. It rhymes. Anybody talked to him lately? He made a channel and then he disappeared. And he was gonna come to Freedom Weekend and then he couldn't make it. And then crickets. Haven't heard from him. Haven't seen anything from him. Um, yeah, we just, we've been it's been kind of a crazy summer. There was a lot of craziness getting ready for Freedom Weekend. And then, I had my back and hip stuff and he had his knee for a hot minute, which he's fine, seems to be fine now. Um, and, uh, and then just sort of busy. And we just haven't really, like, we talk, about stuff, but then it's sort of like in passing. It's like we kind of have like random meetings in the kitchen and we chat for a little while and like, you know. Yeah, so which is weird, right, Auntie Anne? So like a lot of times in August, your views are down. Um, that was a bird or a deer that I just caught a glimpse of. Um, but yeah, fall, winter, your views kind of go down. Kids going back to school, no time. It's kind of hard. Like I get it. But it usually starts in like August too. That August is usually a month. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. So, and then sometimes I feel bad too because I'm like, it's just me, and am I that entertaining by myself? I don't know. Some days I amuse myself. Uh, And I talk to myself a lot. Mike will tell you. I'll hear him yell, "What?" from like the other end of the house. And I'm like, nope, I was just talking to myself, or I was talking to the dog, or I was talking to the cat, or I was talking to this inanimate object in front of me, but I was not talking to you. Like, so yeah, oh yeah, he's loud. He's loud on the phone. He's loud. 100%. Yeah. He's very loud, man. He's it's funny. I always tease him. I'm like, I don't know how like he can go into like stealth mode and he can be quiet when he's like hunting or when he's like has to be quiet for something. But the rest of his life is just um loud bull in a china shop with everything he does. Sings at the top of his lungs, walking through the house. You could be on a phone call, it doesn't matter. Opens things as loudly as possible, closes them as loudly as possible, stomps around on his boots as loudly as possible. Like that he's coming. Like you cannot miss it. He's just loud. Bless him. Random meetings in the kitchen. Yeah, that's what we call it, big country. It is. We've just been so big. Like literally, we haven't gone on we haven't had any date nights. We haven't even had a meal together in I don't even know how long. We literally are on different schedules the last like 2 months, really since school started, just complete opposite schedules. And so we haven't had, I cook dinner and stuff, but we all end up eating at different times. Sometimes Frankie and I eat together, but he doesn't. So yeah, it's just kind of all over the place lately. It's just kind of whatever. But that's life. You go through phases in life where sometimes you're on the same schedules and sometimes you're not. And um, then you get back on schedule with each other. Just roll of the dice, I guess. Paul says, nope, have not seen Chance Weaver in nearly a month. Oh, I hope he's doing okay. I know he was kind of struggle busting for a little bit. Tell Mike I like his shovel handle. I will let him know. It's easier for Mr. to watch in the, oh, maybe for me to watch in the fall and winter than when it's dark out. When the sun is out, I feel like I should be out doing something. Yeah, exactly, Neil. And that's kind of the same thing with us. Like a lot of times in the winter, um, I struggle to get content out because the weather's bad and there's a lot that you can't do, and then when the weather's like that, I want to be inside. I want to be making soup and watching Hallmark movies around Christmas time. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I look forward to that time of just kind of enjoying my decorations that I put up and just, doing all that. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's very true. James Hall says Marine. I don't know who he's yelling that at, but somebody yelling it at somebody. If I look up, this is the bane of reading glasses. Like I have to have them. I need bifocals. It's really what I need. But I'm putting off going to the eye doctor. I know that my prescription has changed, so my contacts I'm struggling with right now. My glasses I'm struggling with right now. I was actually editing, so I ended up editing too many videos in a row. So I was like sitting in the editing chair too long, basically too many hours in a row with like no substantial break from my eyes. And partway through, I had to like take my glasses off and like put my face right in front of the screen so I could actually see what I was doing. Like it was bad. I was like, am I having a stroke? I can't see anything. So I was like, I think I've just been staring at the screen too long. So, oh, Mike's not a Marine, unless you're talking about a different Mike. My Mike was in the Navy. If you're talking about MT Homestead, that's a different case. But although he was he Army and Jason was Marine, I know that. I think Mike was Army then, because they're all three different branches. That's right. He's a squid. I just want new eyes. 48 years of diabetes is taking a toll on my eyes. I hear that. Oh, no worries, James. No worries. Oh, Big Mike was Army. That's right. Okay, so that's what I thought. So Big Mike was Army. Jason of White Rock is, I know, a Marine, or was a Marine, and then Mike was Navy. So my Mike. So regular Mike. Yeah, regular sized Mike, I guess. um, so yeah. But yeah. Yeah, I do wish, I mean, I haven't been able to see forever, I feel like. We've got too many mics. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. There's so many of them. Such a common name. And none of them go by Michael. They're all Mike, Although we do 9 times out of 10 when we're talking to Mike or we're talking about him, we refer to him as Miguel. Frankie calls him Miguel. In fact, I think in one of the videos I just edited with the two of them doing something, it might have been the break video. You actually hear her call him Miguel, because she calls him that a lot. We all do. Like, we want his attention, we'll yell Miguel, and he'll, like, that just has become his nickname over the years. So he's Miguel. So if you're not sure which Mike, just say Miguel, and we'll know which Mike you mean. So putting Mike and Big Mike in a blender gets a Jason White Rock when you blend them. I guess. Pretty much. Sounds right. Big Mike, Jason, and Little Mike. Well, I would think Little Mike would be more like DD5 Mike, because he's so like, he's little. He's young. He's little. I mean, he's not like, I don't mean like he's short little. He's like, what's the word I'm looking for? Lanky. He's like, and he's not super tall like Big Mike is. And my Mike's just like regular Mike. He's just like Miguel. Yes, there are a lot of mics that we talk about. There is only one Sid, though. So there's that. That is the one nice thing about my name, is that it's very, very rare that I run across anybody with my name. However, I will say that I do see it a lot more in movies and TV lately than I ever did growing up. So I know Pikachu says, thank God. I know. I know. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. There can be only one. I'm the Highlander over here. That's right. That's right. Little Mike, Big Mike, and 3MS Mike. There you go, Auntie Ann. I like that. That works. For sure. And, Frankie has the same thing. Like, there's not a lot of Frankies. And 99% of the time, I call her Frank. She doesn't like other people to call her Frank, but she likes it when, like, people close to her, like when I call her Frank. But for everybody else, it's Frankie. And I actually had a couple people not too long ago. I've had this question asked a few times, like, oh, is it short for Francesca or Frances? And I'm like, it's neither. She's, for those of you who don't know and care, her full name is Franklin, but I did spell it Lyn, and I did that not because that was the trendy thing to do at the time, because there was a lot of Lyn names becoming popular at the time, but because it was a more unusual name for a girl, and I thought if she really hates it, she can go by Lynn. And I actually wanted to spell it Lynn, but Mike put the kibosh on that, so it ended up being one N, which looking back, I'm glad we only did the one N. But I was so petrified she was going to hate her name. So, but I'm like, she has options. She can go by Lynn if she wants to. She can go by Frankie. She could go by Fran. She could get away with that if she wanted to. But that's just never been, she's just always been Frankie or Frank. So I'm a trip, but in a good way. I like that. I'll take it. Papa Mike, Baby Mike, and then that would make your Mike would be Mama Mike. Oh, Lord, don't tell him that. Lynn is your middle name? I love that. Yeah. Well, Franklin, and the reason she's named that is my dad's middle name was Franklin, but Lin, like a traditional, not that Lyn is not traditional as well, but more common way you see it is Lin. And I wanted to name her after him. His name was Henry, so I was looking at Henrietta and playing around with her, going, naming her Henrietta, but really focusing on the Etta and have her be Etta. But Mike really didn't like it. And so I was like, what about Franklin? He was like, I kind of like that. Frankie? Yeah, kind of like that. And so I like her name. I like her name. Caitlin. Okay, that's an interesting spelling. I like it. Francisco. Nice. Call me what you want, but don't call me late for dinner. That's right. The video is getting dark. It's not your screen. The sun is going down. That big fiery ball in the sky is calling it quits. And I did not launch a light because Mike has hidden them. And I don't know where they are. That's not true. I know one of them is in the shop. But the other one, I think, is in his office, and he's been on the phone this whole time. So I didn't want to go in there and interrupt and take it out before I started the live. So I thought we'd have just enough daylight to get us through, and we did. And I'm actually going to call it early now. I'm gonna go ahead and bounce out of here so I can go pick up the kiddo and come home and get back to work. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me and being kind. Make sure you hit that thumbs up on your way out if you didn't already. Don't forget to watch, Tuesday's video if you didn't already. And then I'll have a new video coming out Friday. It'll be a shorter one, I believe. It's going to be a shorter one. I know it's going to be a shorter one than our normal length of video. And not as super exciting, but a little bit of an update for you guys to see. So there's that. So anyway, guys, I do appreciate you. I will keep you posted on what ends up happening with our lives, the live saga. But I hope you guys all have a blessed rest of your week. And as always, remember, stay blessed and safety's off.